That's the brush there that I'm using to clean the griddle. All right, today I'm gonna clean this out. I'm gonna try to do a deep cleaning on my Blackstone Griddle. I purchased this from Walmart. Simple instruction, just says spray surface, let it penetrate, paper towel. But I do have a scrubby thing that I do want to try. I'm doing this on cold at first, and then I will bring it up to temperature to do it hot as well. But I don't know if it's hard to see, but the problem is that I'm having burnt oil layer, and that's why a lot of stuff is turning black. Alrighty, I have my soapy water with my little brushy thing here. I'll get the correct name for that there. My degreaser, my regular water, just plain water, my scraper, cutting up my rags. I have my oil. What I want to do now, and it's going to be hard to see because the sun is behind me, it's not in front, but what I'm going to do now is, it's already seasoned, so I'm going to take all this seasoning off first. Get this all cleared up of the oil. Okay, you can see how my rag is. That rag is not from oil, okay? That rag is because, you see how light it is here? And how dark it is here, and it's even darker over here. That is oil that's been cooked, and it's just layers and layers of seasoning, and it's just been cooked, and it's got to get out of here, because you want to get to where you're seasoned this part where it's lighter. And you notice, that's from using the sauces and every other stuff, and again the oil as well. I've been fairly lucky. This is all humidity because of Florida. No rust or nothing. So if you keep this seasoned and oiled enough, you can prevent the rust. Now, this doesn't mean I can leave this here a month without using it and just let it drip, drip. I have to check on this every once in a while just to make sure this is still seasoned. Because I noticed here, it had some oil and water drops mixed in there. So, but no rust or nothing, but you just can't just disabandon this unless you put it in a shed or underneath a porch and don't have a cover on it. I do have a cover because of Florida. We have humidity. That's the issue that I'm having. So what happened is one day I was scraping and I was like, what the heck is that rust stuff? Well, it's not rust. What I'm finding it is the layer of oil that either burnt or cooked. And you see I'm getting to where I want to be. This doesn't mean that it's bad, but every time you cook, this black stuff here will get on your food and turn it black. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. I'm doing this cold because that's what the degreaser calls for, is to do this on its cold. If you do it warm when it's hot, it's going to evaporate. I want to degrease it, let it sit for a while. Do not put this degreaser or any degreaser on the outside of this. That you just use Dawn soap with a rag and you wipe the outside to get that off of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start scraping this off real quick. See as much as I can get off before I apply the degreaser. Okay, I got as much as I can, and again, I thought that was rust. That's not rust. That's the burnt oil, but it's tough. I've had this thing 2 months and haven't been properly cleaning it where I thought I was cleaning it properly. So now I'm gonna get all this. See, that's all that will reburn and turn everything black, like my eggs, my steak. All right, let me give it one last wipe down. Now what I did was I watched a lot of videos of people cleaning, and I'm just gonna try, because everyone is different. Eventually I'm gonna get a stone, but basically I just did my own thing. I'm just gonna do it my way after watching everyone's video, because everyone used different stuff. But now I'm going to spray this degreaser. Now I don't know if this is just any kind of degreaser, because they sell degreaser. Used to buy this degreaser at the dollar store. That was cheap, and it worked when I worked at the pizza place. And then I'm going to leave this on for a minute or two. I'm going to let that sucker work on its way in there, okay? Another thing I want to show is I was using this leather glove. And what happened is when the steam came up, it literally burnt all the way up to my elbow. I mean, even to this, I mean, I could have had 3rd degree. I could have had up to 3rd degree burn. I guess how I did it, I caught it, but it burnt. I went and I bought this sleeve from Amazon. It's got a hole in the end for your finger and your thumb. And I should have known better. And then I wear the leather. That's what you need. You need it to go past that elbow, because even till today, I still feel like it's a little burning sensation going on. Because eventually, I am going to warm this up, because I am going to get all those chemicals burnt away, especially the soapy water and stuff, the chemicals, get it dried, because that's the only way it'll pure dry. So that when I come cleaning, spraying it with the clear water, then I can apply my oil to season the grill. That's the brush there that I'm using to clean the griddle. Now the Scrub Daddy has a very fine bristle metal, but you got to remember this has to stay soaked in water, because when you put that on here, okay, this has been on here. Now according to the instruction, it says to wipe that away. Like I'm supposed to be able to wipe that away, but I'm gonna scrape a little bit more, because there is a lot on here, and I probably, because I wasn't properly cleaning it, maybe the temperature was too high. But I am starting to see some sparkles now, which is telling me, it might have worked. I might do this again. There's still some there, but it's going to take time. Like I said, this didn't happen overnight. Now, as far as the edges go, I'm just not worried about the first 2 inches, because I'm not cooking out here. That's your warm spot. It's mainly in the center, but it doesn't hurt. But you see how it still almost looks like a rust color, but that's definitely because there's some out here. See that? But my main thing is this center here. I don't want that like that, because again, that'll protect me from rust as well. All right, I scraped. It looked pretty good. Not any rust looking brown thing, burnt oil. Again, this is still cold. And like I said, when I did this like this last time, the steam had literally. So I'm gonna work this brush in for a little bit with the Dawn soap. Then I'm gonna wipe this down, and then I'm gonna apply the degreaser. Today I had a day where I can do this. Oh wow, look at that. You can see where it's breaking away, and it's okay if you have a little bit of that on there. It's going to be hard to get it off, but eventually I'm going to get a stone in the end. So let me scrape this down, and again, I will be keeping dipping and doing this while it's cold. You can use paper towels, whatever. We have a lot of t-shirts we've saved that I have in the rag box because of working on cars. Get another clean one, and I'm gonna wipe this as dry as I can. Remember, this isn't the final thing, but you just get it as dry as you can, and you can see some of the areas are popping out. Said I'm gonna do one more coat before I turn it on and do the hot clean. But yeah, it's coming along. Probably be better if I had the stone, but it's okay. so hard to find a video on how to clean this, because everyone that cleans it, you know, they have a lot of money to spend. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure when they clean it, they probably paid someone to keep it clean. Because I promise you, you could spend at least an hour, if not longer, doing this here. So, and they always make it look easy, like, oh, look, well, yeah, because you got a perfect grill, you kept it. But this is for the people like you and me that, hey, we ain't got time to get the perfectness, because first it's too hot, we got to eat, and we just don't have the time. But at least maybe once a week, once a month, we have the time to do this. So now I'm going to let this sit. Second round of degreaser sitting on there. You can see in some areas where it's bubbling, that's where it's getting the stuff that's caked on there. I'm going to do another scrape real quick. Another thing is, don't use a hose or a lot of water. That's good enough water that's coming off the bristle, and that's good enough water to clean. So don't over water this, because you got to remember the rest of this is all metal, and you don't want all underneath here to rust. But this degreaser is not bad. And I know when I get it hot and I see some stuff coming up a little bit, and I do just the regular water, I'll even get more. Because I am going to use, and I'll call this a bristle. I'll just call it a bristle for now. But I am going to use the bristle when it's warm. But you can see the areas, and I will get it in sunlight when the sun comes over to show you the final outcome of it. But that's what I'm trying to get to. So let me scrape this up. You can see some of the areas, again, that is not rust. That's just the caked on oil on there. All right, I'm going to come again with the bristle. So I repeated this twice. Now every step that I'm doing, I'm using a new rag to clean it up. Never using the old rags. Throw those away. Like I said, you can use paper towels. So let me get this wiped up, and as you can see, starting to come out good. Okay, now comes the heating part. I always shut my tank off, and we're gonna put this on low. One thing that I did here is never put this on high, and never put a lot of water, because you can warp this. That's why this process has to be done on low. So what I'm gonna do is just close this up, let that get warmed up, and then I'm gonna come with the bristle, scrape, possibly bristle again, scrape, and then I'm gonna do the seasoning. Alrighty, just to let everyone know, this is my version of cleaning it after listening to all those videos there. You have suggestions, put them down there. But I just feel like sometimes when we buy something new, and I'll just use the Blackstone as an example, we start wanting to buy like all these millions of things, like, you know, all these just things that we see that people, and look how it's scraping, you see? This is hot. But we tend to seem on buying everything that we see that all these people suggest, when you just really need is a, and I think I'm gonna look for an industrial scraper, one that you can change the blade, because these eventually get dull. But anyway, we just tend to seem to keep on buying and buying stuff that we don't really need. Now, if you're gonna use two hands, get two of these things here. Again, I don't have my glove on, which I should have it because it is getting hot, but I don't have the steam on it yet, so. But don't go wasting your time on a lot of stuff. I am noticing this blade is getting hot as it has contact. So I'm gonna scrape this up real quick and see what I can get off. I'm gonna put this glove on, and all right, that's really the proper way. See, because when I hold this metal part, I'm not burning my hand. All right, so I'm gonna continue, and you can see some of the stuff in the corner. hopefully you can see overall how some of its clear spots. So I'm just gonna do this for a little bit while this is on low. You can still see, I mean, I have a lot of work. This is not gonna happen overnight, but I'm getting it as clean as I can. I think I'm just gonna put a little bit of this here. Another thing too is that when you put water, this thing, even though I'm on low, this does go down, the temperature. So you have to let it build up. And you can see some of the areas where it's telling me, hey, this is where there's some cake on stuff is shown. So. And what that does is that water will raise those areas up. Okay, and like I said, I'm gonna have to get another arm because this is more than a one-handed job here. This is a two-handed job. So let me get my bristle. And this is where I almost burnt my forearm. And I'm gonna give you an example. See how it comes all the way up? Woo. Yeah, even the leather is, I have to get those gloves and use the arm thing because even the leather is starting to collect heat. It's gotta be careful on how much water you put on here, guys. And I'm doing here is I'm burning all the soap. It's getting burned off. And I can see as I'm cleaning here, with this having water in it, it's starting to clear some of that. So again, this will take time. I'm not gonna do it all in one day because this, like I said, I'm not trying to spend too much time. We don't all have time to do this. I could be here for a couple hours. I'm just trying to keep it at a reasonable time. If I do this once a month, twice a month, if you can do it once a week, but again, this grill gets used a lot. And this bristle does help, so I could just imagine what a stone would help on top of the bristle. And I was using this bristle the wrong way. This was the correct way. It's you dip, get some water, and the water, see, you can see even the water turns brown. So that's telling me that everything is rising. That's why you don't want to put a lot of water, because like I said, you'll cool this thing down quick. And it's not necessary and you'll warp it. Still see some brown spots in here. So, okay, I'm gonna do that. I am gonna buy 2 of these because doing it with one hand is a struggle. So this way I can use 2 hands to clean the grill. Alrighty, so that's the best that I'm gonna be able to do it today. Looks real good. It can be better, but like I said, it's work. It's a lot of work. All right, now I'm gonna apply the oil to season the grill. Again, the grill is on low. Once I put this on here, I am gonna start shutting down the grill. Because again, I don't want this to boil. All I want it to do is just be warm. But again, gloves are highly important. Get all the edges, even on the outside as well. And then again, this is gonna look real shiny. Now, if you don't have gloves, you cannot do this with bare hands. I'm getting the edges over here, and I'm getting the edges on the side, because again, and the back wall. All right, I just want to make sure. All right, it's shiny, but it's still gonna need a little bit more, and then I'm gonna do it again when it's cold. Different rag, guys. Again, I'm wearing gloves. This sucker is hot. Get the edges real good. Some people use a tongue, paper towels. All right, now I'm gonna shut this off Let it cool down just a little bit so I can get my final oil on there. And then I'll wipe the rest of it down. All right. Hopefully you can see. Okay, while that is doing that now, you can see how greasy all in this area. I am going to take my soapy water with a new rag, and and that has Dawn dish detergent, and I'm going to wring it out, not let it be watery, and then I'm going to wipe the whole outside area down to keep it clean. That's all you're basically doing. Now, if you can do this, and before I put the cover, ooh, that sucker's hot, so be careful. Now, if you can do this in the sun, that's even perfect, because the sun hitting this, especially in the summertime, it'll clean it up real good. It's nice and hot. If you can do the cold process of the degreaser in the sun as well, because again, the griddle top will get hot, then that's even good too. Because the more heat, I've noticed when adding the water, the more of that unburnt oil gets used. All right, so I'm gonna wipe this whole thing. And I know I don't keep mine closed. Some people do. But I am gonna keep this clean as well, because it does splash oil. I'm just giving this a nice wipe. And one thing I did notice, that on the back side of this grill, be careful when you wipe the buttons. I think I broke this little piece off here. I might have to put silicone glue, because that piece is to get to the screws. I noticed I have some rust back here, so I'm going to make sure I oil that. I do use a pan to catch my grease, but that has to be oiled back there too. But all right, it's coming along, guys. Again, be careful with the buttons, because I think I broke this one right here. Yeah, I broke it somehow. That's to be able to get to the screws to take the knob off. I'm just going to add a little bit of silicone. All right, I got it. I turned it around so you can see it in the sunlight, but you see the difference. You see what's burnt. And again, I'm not worried about the edges. Again, that does protect your thing there, but I don't want it in the center. But you could see the difference between where you want to get to. It's all right if you have that spotty, but the main thing is you don't want this whole thing. And again, what I've noticed is putting the water on, that black stuff does come up. So it's a matter of time. And again, I've had this for a couple months, watching all these videos, doing all the wrong things, thinking I had to buy everything. And then I just came up with my own formula. All right, now this is the final oil to condition it. And you notice too, I'm not using the same rag that I used the first time, because it was dirty. Everything is clean. And I got to get in the back over here as well. So now I'm putting my final coat before I'm done for the day with this. And it's just like a skillet, guys. When you clean a skillet in the thing, you got to oil it up right away. Get all the corners, inside edges, and again, remember the outside edge over here. Make sure I get that oil back there. Get this nice coat going, both sides of everything. And see, I wasn't doing the outside of the back there. And look how shiny she is. And that's a seasoned grill. I am going to close the hood just to make sure I got that back good. You want to add a little more oil, that's fine. But now those areas that are clean, the oil can suck, or the metal can suck the oil in, where in these areas it wasn't. One or two things happening. I'm using too much oil when I'm cooking, which I eventually got to learn. It's all about just practice. Now, if you want to leave this for a while into the sun, let the sun bake it in, that's fine. Come out again, check it again to see. I'm going to do that. I'm going to see if there's any dry spots on here. So I'm going to let the sun soak that in for a couple of minutes there. If it's more than a couple of minutes, I'm sure it's fine. It's not going to hurt it. So there's nothing flying in the air to go in here right now. So right now I'm going to let the sun do its job. But I should have had this facing the sun when I sprayed the degreaser and everything. Because like I said, when this is warm, it works, cleans better. Right now I'm going to go get the silicone glue, fix that up real quick, and get ready to end this video. Alrighty, had it here about 5-10 minutes. Still looking good. I'm just gonna put an extra on it just in case. I mean, I'm just like that. Very light. Come around it again. Now this grill, because we live in Florida, gets used daily. So it's definitely gonna be a job to keep this sucker as clean as you can. Now, if I had this underneath the porch, I wouldn't have to worry as much as the humidity getting underneath here. So you don't really need a cover if you have it underneath the porch. But the main thing is to keep that glaze. Now, if I had put too much, which I think what it was, I was putting too much on here. And when I started it, it was cooking into there. So if you open this up and you happen to see that there's too much oil on here, wipe that oil down, because it'll still be oily. Then heat it up there. And then let me make sure I get the back side here. Over here. See, because I didn't get down far enough. Just keep that oily. So the rust. All right, that's all I really used was the degreaser, the bristle thing with soapy water, regular water, oil, some rags, cover it up. Again, living in Florida, this thing gets used all year long. I don't have an issue with it being out here. And then I'm gonna throw the cover. That's how I clean my Blackstone Griddle. That's it. Hopefully this video helps you out. Give a bunch of thumbs up, likes, leave some comments. Have a good grilling day. The end.